Section marks are used to cut a section through the walls, floors, ceilings, in general just the different materials that make up your building. In this case, I'm going to take a section, which is underneath the View tab, and Section on the ribbon, through this back half of our building. Right now, the only thing that happens to be drawn are really a series of walls. We currently don't have any floors or ceilings in this building, so this section is only going to show a section going through the walls. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so we can take a look at the section. I'm going to click once, come down, and then click again. This places the section symbol here inside of our floor plan view. I want to mention that there's dashes showing up in here. And the reason is that this here will be the detail or the section number, and this is going to be the page number whenever this view is eventually put onto a page. So when it comes time to do our construction documents, we'll move this section view out onto a page, and these dashes will automatically fill in with the correct information based on the information that it has when it's placed on its sheet. Also, we can see that there's a little double arrow here where the section is at. If we select on the little double arrow, that'll flip it from looking in one direction to looking in the other direction. There's a break mark here. If you select on the break mark, which is gaps and segments, it will allow you to split this line here that makes up the section. This won't affect the way that our section view looks. It's just a documentation tool. Also, if you move your mouse up here and click on that little break mark again, it'll automatically heal that particular section. Another thing of note is in order to be able to see whatever you want to see inside of the section, then this dash box is going to give you an idea as to what's going to be inside of this section. So what this means is that in this case, we'd be able to see the back wall as well as anything else that would be inside of this particular box. If we wanted to see less of it, you can click on the arrows and then drag the arrows back. Now, because this back wall is no longer inside of this box that shows up, it will no longer show up inside of our section view. I'm going to click out here in space. Next, I'm going to select one more time on this line, zoom out just a touch, and we're going to see that there's two different options and they look the same on both ends. If you click on that, it'll either remove that particular end, it'll give that section bubble on the end, or else it'll give you the nice thick dark line. And you could do the same thing on the other end. These can all be customized inside of the families so that this can have the look that you'd like to have inside of your own set of construction documents as well. Now let's take a look at this section by just double clicking really fast on the circular part of it. In this case, it's taken us to a building section that has a very low level of detail associated with it. If I zoom in a little bit, we can see that this is just some line work. But there is an option down here that says detail level. And if you change this to a higher level of detail, in this case I did a fine level of detail, you'll be able to see each layer of material that's associated with this particular item, in this case a wall. Now I'm going to move up here, I'm going to click on the X to get out of this particular view. Now let's do a full building section the same way. So come up here to Section, underneath the View tab, click once, move over, and click again. Hit Escape a couple times on the keyboard. Now, before when we did this, I double clicked here where the circle was to see the view. You could still do that, but I want to point out that underneath the project browser, there's now a sections area. And if you double click where section 2 is at, that'll take you to your full building section where we can see everything that shows up inside of the section. And we could take the time to detail this out if we wanted to change the level of detail so things would appear slightly differently. In this case, let's try changing this to a fine level of detail and see if any changes actually occur. You'll notice that very little has changed, if anything at all. And the reason is that we're cutting through very little except for the mullions and the glass is associated with each of these windows inside of the curtain walls. If these had had more elaborate detail and changes this to a fine level of detail may have given us more information. So the purpose behind sections is to be able to cut sections through your building so that you can see how different layers of material are put together.